Hello, happy Thursday. How's everybody? Everybody doing good? I'm doing all right. Get my stuff together here. So, cheers, dears. It's all about these guys, right? Oh, been going all day. Just saying, I've been going all day. So, apparently some of the Republicans aren't liking all the cuts that Donnie Trump is starting to make. Getting a little antsy and saying, oh no, you don't mean that. No, you can't do that. How about we try it this way? Well, we're going to talk about Miss Katie Britt. She's the senator from Alabama. Yeah, so let's going to talk about Katie Britt today. And I'll give you a little background on her too, because she's been out of the public eye until the last week, I'm just saying. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. You're already here. I get like 20,000 likes and 20,000 views, and I get less than half the likes. So if you're sticking it out enough to be counted as a view, you should be counted as a like. Just saying. And all my hangers on, oh Lord, you have no idea. Got a soft spot in my heart for you. And no, I'm not going to extend my arm, because that would not be nice. It'd be big disrespect to all the service people that lived and died through all them big old wars, especially first and second, just saying. But anyway, let's get into Katie Britt, shall we? Now, she thought she'd make a name for herself by getting into politics. But apparently, Republican Jesus thinks that you're not worthy of a job. Apparently, your only job is supposed to be serving your husband, not all those other men in the Senate and on Capitol Hill. And you shouldn't even be serving the mango moose knuckle. Nobody should. I remember that rebuttal you gave to President Biden's State of the Union address. I remember that like it happened last night. You looked like you were being directed by the worst 4-year-old in JK. And you didn't take the advice. I'm just saying, whoever set that up, oh Lord. You know, the visuals and all the stuff around you says something. So they put you sitting in your kitchen like a good trad wife, right? The only thing was you wouldn't barefoot or pregnant. Just saying, because that's where they want you to go. Now, remember when you and Senator Blackburn and Senator Hyde-Smith, y'all went on your girls' trip down to the southern border? Remember that? I do. You went down there and there were no migrants. You thought they were going to be swarming the border. But guess what? I think there was 2 that you seen off in the distance, 2 or 3, that's all. And then you invented and seriously misled people about a 12-year-old that you were talking about. That you talked to, that you said was trafficked under Biden's administration, when in fact, who you were talking to really was a 22-year-old activist named Jacinta Ramirez. She, and this is quotes by Katie, she had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at age 12. She told me not just that she was raped every day, but how many times a day. We wouldn't be okay if it was happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America. And it's past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it. President Biden's border crisis is a disgrace. Yeah, she went hot and cold in that rebuttal. Did you notice? But anyway, well, Katie, in fact, that did happen to a 12-year-old girl once upon a time. But guess what? It didn't happen under President Joe Biden's administration. That happened under George Bush's administration. So it wasn't even Obama. So you can't even blame a Democrat for that. Yes, that happened under Bush. And it didn't happen in the USA at all. That happened in Mexico. So in your rebuttal, you said that you're the mom of 2 school-age children. And apparently, you're so worried about every child in every corner of the United States, in our nation. Really? Joe Biden gave hungry kids school lunches. The man go moose knuckle, took them away with a stroke of his Sharpie. You know, I just wish Joe Biden got it. What really matters around kitchen tables like this one? Sure, Katie, you can say that. Sitting in your big fancy house. The kitchen probably cost about $35,000, just saying. When seniors are living on less than $15,000 a year on their pensions and Medicaid. And soon it will probably go down to below $12,000 a year because Trump and Mussolini think Social Security and Medicaid are a waste of taxpayer dollars. But your state's about to find out. But you wouldn't know anything about that because you and your husband earn between $5 and $10 million a year. Only. You also own stocks. Are you and your husband actually trading stocks still while you're in the Senate? You know that's not right. It's not legal. That's right. We're trying to ban that. And you have properties and mutual funds. And don't forget that $174,000 a year salary you get with your Senate pay, plus all those free medical benefits that you and your family get to get the best care at the finest hospitals anywhere. And you know what? After only 4 years, you'll get a full pension. You got to work like what, 20, 30, 40 years before you get a full pension? Just saying. Now, her and her husband have between $500 and $1 million in Apple stock. They also own 2 parcels of land that's in development right now worth more than $1 million. She has mutual funds upwards of $250,000. Now, Katie, you thought that Joe Biden was a bad president and he was doing so much horrible things to the government. Really? If it's so bad, how come this is your state, Alabama? Look how many jobs were created in Alabama under Joe Biden. 189.2 thousand new jobs were created. 278,800 applications to start new businesses in Alabama. 386 million new Alabamians now have Biden health care because it was improved in just 2024. 1.1 million seniors and others on Medicare recipients saved in 2024 because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris lowered drug costs. $2 billion in student debt cancellation was approved for 37,168 people in your great state of Alabama because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and $13.3 billion in private sector manufacturing, clean energy jobs, and investments were also made in Alabama because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and $9.4 billion in public investment in clean energy, infrastructure, manufacturing, under that old dithering 2-old man that had been in government since before I was born. Like that has anything to do with it, right? So if Joe Biden had been there 41 years, it would still be before she was born. Just saying. So if all the money that Joe and Kamala Harris poured into your seriously uneducated, low to poor health scores, families are worse off, she said, and families are struggling and they're less safe, wasn't any good. Then give the money back. You thought Joe Biden did a bad job? Give all the money he gave to your state back to the government then, if you thought he was so bad. Give it back. rural areas can even Google this shit now because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that brought $26 million worth of broadband to your rural areas in Alabama. Because now under the mango moose knuckle is where you're going to find out that he's stomping on your economy and stomping it right into the ground, just like he said he would. He told you he was going to do this. You say Joe Biden signed 94 executive orders in his first 100 days. Jesus, the mango moose knuckle signed over 63 on his first day. Day 2 seemed like another 42 or something like that. So yeah, every single day since he's been in there, he has stacks like this of executive orders that he's signed. Trump got rid of DEI. But you know what that comes with? Guess what, Katie? You are a DEI hire. That's right. I know you were voted in, but women are being phased out of all jobs because that's what Project 2025 wants. All jobs all around the country, not just your poor ass state. Oh, do you have a housekeeper? Katie, do you have a housekeeper? Of course you do. Has ICE been to visit? Have they? Or is she already on a plane to Guantanamo Bay to fill those 30,000 beds, you know? Your chosen God, President. That's a cruel joke, isn't it? You say because God must have said in answer to your, oh, why us, Lord? Why Alabama? And I really think that Republican Jesus and God looked down on you and said, because you piss me off by treating all of my children, including black and brown and women and children and LGBT kids like shit and taking their rights away because you could. So yeah, that's why. Let's call it my wrath, shall we? Now, you effed around and find out, and now you are going to bow down to that false god who even now has a gold-footed, fatted calf covered in fake $100 MAGA bills with his old mug plastered all over it, and has it proudly displayed in his $28 million resort. You bowed down to that. So, to repay you, or better yet, he played you all, now your state is going to go back to the shithole it was before Trump came in, left the first time. You are supposed to be a smart lawyer, Katie. You know the law. You know right from wrong. And you're supposed to be a senator. So therefore, you would know what a president is allowed to do, and more importantly, what he is doing is against the law. He is reducing the National Institute of Health funding and slashing USAID food programs. Oh, Katie, this is going to affect your state big, right? He told you he was going to make you suffer. Yep, people are going to suffer, he said. Him and Mussolini said the same thing. And the University of Alabama at Birmingham, yeah, they ripped the shit out of your university medical research funding. That's right. Over $100 billion came ripped out of your poor ass state. Remember, red states don't have any money. They depend on the government for everything. And this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad, Katie. It's going to hurt bad. It really is. Because you know what? The University of Alabama is the state's largest employer. So he's going to get rid of FEMA as well, which means Alabama. You know, he drew the big Sharpie penis over Alabama when it was time for hurricane, so he could say he was right about the direction of the storm. He's getting rid of the guys that are going to give you the heads up on that too. I'm just telling you. But he's going to he said, let the states run their own stuff. So you poor ass states, Oklahoma, Louisiana, yeah, North, South Carolina, Georgia. Yeah, you're on your fucking own. That's what's happening here. All those hurricanes, all those floods, tornadoes, whatever the hell's coming down the pike next, you try and find the money for that because the government ain't going to help you. No federal funding for states. You know who's going to be okay? Blue states. That's right. There's 13 out of the 20 states that funding is slashed are all red states. You know, the states of the poorly educated. That's why he's doing this shit, because nobody's going to look into it. That's right. So that rural hospital that Joe and Kamala were going to build for you, Trump said, hell no. That money better off in my pocket. My pocket and all my rich buddies. Well, you make between $5 and $10 million, so maybe you're going to get a little kickback too. You're considered, to the rest of us, you're considered pretty wealthy. So why don't you start praying that the Democrats take your Senate job? Well, you can retire, right? Full benefits, full pension. You can retire. And you better pray that the Democrats take back the House and take back the Senate. And maybe you'll get your shit back. You know, all the shit that Trump currently just stole from you? Just think of all the farmers in your state, Katie. Ooh, Lord. They're losing money. They're losing their farms. You know, all the Medicaid and stuff are really big at giving milk, butter, all the dairy stuff. That's big in your state. Good luck with that. Yeah. You know, Katie, I'm thinking you better start praying that Democrats get in and save your ass. Just saying. So I'll just say goodbye. Have a good night. Take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else tonight. And Anna loves you. Be good, be safe. I love you so much.